What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel, Dad's Dirt Bike Garage. Today will be episode number 1. We're going to be talking about the Chinese ATV. There's a ton of videos in these already on YouTube, but those videos really focus on breaking it all the way down, buying all new parts, and at that point I might as well just buy a brand new ATV. So, if you're like me and you picked up a cheap ATV and the previous owner said, hey, it used to run, now it just sits, you're probably in good shape. And you only need to worry about 4 basic things: battery, compression, spark, and fuel. I'll break down a series getting those 4 things covered, and we should be able to get out riding. Stay tuned. Alright, first thing we're going to focus on is the battery. Battery in these is always the same, whether it's a 50cc, 90cc, 125. They all take the same battery, and the main problem with these from the previous owner is, they were dead. It died, couldn't get it going after that. So the first thing you can do, if it comes with one, is get this charged up. If it doesn't come with one, you can get one. They're easy to find at Walmart. You can even find a pre-charged one for about 40 bucks. Or you can get the one that you need to fill yourself and charge for even cheaper. So first thing you need to do, you pop it in the tray. Second, you're going to have 3 cables coming out. You're going to have a black one, usually has a green end with a yellow cable on the very end. That's going to go on your negative side. So we'll pop that in, take the bolts and get it set. Once you get the negative cable set, the other 2 are usually red, wrapped in a black protective. Take both of those, put them together, throw them on the positive side. Once you get that going, we'll bolt them down, not too tight, just snug. One of the first tips I learned about these ATVs is almost every bolt on this thing is a 10mm. So as long as you have a 10mm socket or even a 10mm wrench, you can work on this machine. Alright, once we got that locked in place, move on to part number 2, compression. Second thing I want to look at is compression. One way you can do it is using a pressure reading gauge that screws right into the spark plug hole. But this video is based around regular dad with regular tools. So let's figure it out. First we're going to pull a spark plug cable, let it fall. Then we're going to take that spark plug and remove it. Usually the spark plug's 16mm. Get that out. Now, generally if you don't have a basket case, and the owner said it ran before, now I'm just having a little bit of problems, you're still going to be able to turn it over when you hit the ignition. So, let's try that. Good, sounds like we had a good starter. So now, to test for your compression, normally you would screw your compression gauge right into that hole and hit the ignition and read the pressure. Well, since we don't have one of those, we're just going to take our finger, put a nice seal with your thumb over top of that spark plug hole, and give the ignition a little try. You should feel the pressure. Try to blow your thumb off of that hole. As long as you feel some pretty good pressure coming out of that, you should be in good shape. If you don't feel anything and your thumb just lays there flat, you're going to have a whole other set of problems. So this one looks good. Let's try it again. You can even hear that coming out of there. That's a pretty healthy compression. Alright, after you found out you have good compression, number 3, spark. We're going to check our spark plug, see how it looks. This one's in pretty good shape. Not too bad. Not brand new either. But we're going to give it a try. So we need to find out if there's actually spark in this engine. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our spark plug, clip it into the spark plug wire, then we're going to take it and rest it against the metal of the side of the crankcase. And we're going to hit the ignition and we're going to look for spark. Right between the little electrode and the tip of the spark plug. Right in here. So rest it against the metal and hit the ignition. Right there. Pretty good spark actually. Try it again. Alright, that looks like good spark. So we'll go ahead, we'll put this plug back in and get it set back up. Get it hand tight, then we'll give it a nice snug with a wrench. Be sure not to over tighten anything on this machine. A lot of these Chinese ATVs are made of cheap metal, and we don't want to strip anything out. So, once you get it plugged back in, screwed back in, get your spark plug cable, click it back on the end. Alright, last but not least, fuel. We need to make sure that this machine can get fuel from the tank down into the valves. So let's check it out. We've already unbolted all of our components here. And we'll pull our tank right off. And we'll set it back here. So when you first look at it from the top, your tank should lead down. Out of this little valve, through a tube, sometimes into a filter, sometimes not. And your tube should come all the way back around into your fuel inlet side. Let's see if we can see that here. And it'll come in all the way from the other side, right into here. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to take this carburetor out. We're going to want to get the carburetor off. That way we can get a good look inside. See if we need to replace it or if just a nice cleaning will do. So first we're going to take this bolt here, and there's one on the other side as well. And there's a bolt here from the intake manifold right into the cylinder head on this side, and one on the other side as well. Once again, 10 millimeter bolt. Just grab your wrench. Let's get them off. Now, these can be pretty tight fit, so we'll go ahead and get some loosened. These bottom two, the manifold loosened from the cylinder head, and a little bit more. Once we get it a little loose and the unit's jiggly, then we'll go ahead and we'll take the ones completely out of the carburetor into the intake manifold.
Set that down, go the other side.
We'll go ahead and pull the throttle slide top out and we'll let that hang. So we'll come here, get that unscrewed, pull that up, let it sit off to the side. Last thing we're going to do, we're going to come to the fuel and we're going to shut that off down here. On this one, the long end is the direction that you're to read. As opposed to other machines, there's an arrow usually pointing away from the tail, the direction that you read. So right now, tail's pointed off, no fuel flowing from the tank down to the carburetor. So let's get that carburetor off. First, we'll get the hose clamp pulled off of here, and then we'll be able to slide the carburetor out. Usually works well with a nice set of lineman pliers. That way you can grab all the fingers. If you don't have a set, go ahead and grab a set of needle nose, do the same thing. So once you get that cable set, just set it aside, and we'll hook it back up later. Now, should be able to pull the carburetor out. It's easy as working a little puzzle. Reason we loosen that manifold up, it'll help us find enough space, enough room. You may have to pull the choke lever up, and you can get the carburetor pop out the other side. And there it is. Chinese ATV carburetor. Let's get on the table and check it out. Hey, you know what? Let's get a new one. Here we go. Chinese ATV special. Chinese carburetor. People don't like these. It's a $50 ATV. You think we should buy a carburetor that costs more than the four-wheeler? Me either. So back to the machine, got our carburetor. Just how it was before. It's going to be a little wiggly getting it back in. So if you want, you can go ahead, open up the choke and slide it in. I think we had a better chance getting it in from the other side. So we'll try that there. And close the choke, wiggle it around, wiggle the manifold around. There we go. Now we got it in place. Now, like I said before, we're going to take that O-ring side, we're going to put it towards the manifold, or engine side. And we're going to take the smooth side, face it towards the carburetor. So we'll get that lined up, slide it between the two, and we'll kind of hold it in place right there, and we'll get our first bolt through. And we'll start tightening that up by hand. Once we feel the catch, we'll go ahead and grab our other one and throw it on the other side. Snug it down. One thing I forgot to mention when opening that carburetor box is it will also come with a new needle, slide, and spring. I generally keep the old screw top on, but I replace the slide, needle, and spring. Sometimes these are a little fatter, a little skinnier, so the old one won't fit as nicely in this one or fit at all. So it's good just to take yours off and replace it. Alright, now we got all that set up. We're going to go ahead and turn our fuel on, make sure there's no leaks. So we'll get our fuel on, and we'll come down to the carburetor, check for any leaks. Don't see any. Another way to make sure that fuel is getting into the carburetor is go to the other side and go ahead and unscrew your drain screw here. Once you get it open far enough, you should see fuel start to drip out. If you don't have any fuel there, go ahead and plug it back up. We'll take it apart, check it out, see what's wrong. Could be a defective carburetor, or it could just be dirty. But this one looks good, no leaks. So we'll get everything put back together, and we'll give it a try. Once you get it all back together, we can go ahead and try and fire it up. What I failed to notice was my battery is dead. So in this case we have three options. Charge your battery, jump the machine, or use a power drill to get fired up. Let's use a power drill. If you want to use that method, come down here to the side of the crankcase and remove this cover here. Once you get that cover off, you should be able to see the flywheel nut. Just take a flathead screw and unscrew it. And inside there you got a 14mm flywheel nut. So we'll go ahead and get our drill set up. 14mm. And we'll get it on there. Make sure when you do this, your drill is set counterclockwise or to the left, same way the engine runs. So we get the choke set machine on. We'll go ahead, give it a try. Give it a little gas. Whoa! Got it. Sounds like the idle set pretty good. Like I said earlier, we'll let it warm up. I can't believe that worked first try. Oh, there it goes, starting to ramp up a little bit. Which means we'll probably have to make an adjustment. So we'll let that warm up for about 10 minutes. We'll come back, make some adjustments. We should be ready to go. Hopefully I was able to help you get your Chinese ATV running. Just remember the 4 basic components: battery, compression, spark, and fuel. Be sure to follow along to Dad's Dirt Bike Garage, as I'll be breaking down those 4 items even further, just in case you run across something else. Thanks a lot!